Hello again, Stroke. Today I'm bringing you a bit of information about the Warhammer Chaosbane Tomb Kings DLC. Warhammer Chaosbane has released their first major DLC that adds an additional chapter in the story. This one is called the Tomb Kings DLC, and the story kind of begins that Lord Finrir asks us to join the College of Magic at Outdoor's most dangerous and ambitious mission to date. A research expedition by the newly founded Amethyst Order to the undead kingdom of Nehekara. The expedition is preparing to explore the crypt of the priest king Nebmaket. However, it is beset by danger on all sides and is in dire need of help. And thus starts our quest to aid the Amethyst Order. This expansion is paid for and it also comes as part of the Seasons Pass, so Seasons Pass owners would be able to access it. Non-Season Pass owners can either separately buy it or buy a Seasons Pass to access the content. There's also ways to access the DLC even if you don't own it. If you, for example, have a friend who owns it, they can invite you into it and you can do those zones while they're hosting the game. We would be fighting undead enemies in a desert-like setting filled with different tomb-like dungeons to explore. This brings some good memories back in exploring Act 2 Loot Lane in Diablo 2. Also the Act 2 missions, desert-like setting, as well fighting undead in Grimdown, and as well as the Forgotten Gods expansion in Grimdown, which is as well again kind of a oasis desert-like setting. It definitely feels familiar in the good way, going through the different dungeons and fighting the enemies in the open desert zones of Nekehara, and I'm definitely enjoying this expansion. What we do get from this expansion are the addition of 9 quests from the story mode. If you have a max leveled character, it could probably take you between 45 minutes and an hour if you kind of try to rush it. If you try to take it slow, maybe you can prolong it up to 1.5, 2 hours. So it's not much content, it's easy to chew through it. And if you wanna rush to the end game, you would be able to experience the newly added zones in the relic hunts, expeditions, and in the boss rush modes. There have been added a lot of nice new undead enemies, some of them with unique new attacks, others kind of feel reskin versions of the old enemies. And you're definitely gonna enjoy going through the story even though it's not that long. It provides an interesting aspect as well as secrets such as the one you're seeing now. So there may not be some extremely difficult puzzles on the level of Darksiders puzzles, but there is a thing like this where you kind of need to flip some switches to get a combination going on. So what I've noticed, as I said, some of the enemies do feel like reskinned versions of the enemies from the other acts, from the old acts, with slightly different colored attacks, but kind of similar attack patterns. But there are some new skills, such as a skill to pull you close to the enemy, like vacuuming, singularity kind of skill. And I'm also enjoying what the level design and the enemy design of those new zones. They feel very eye pleasing and I'm enjoying fighting the enemies in those zones. There are enemies like giant scorpions or like the Necro Sphinx or just your regular champion undead that have some charged attacks that can kind of deal a lot of damage or damage over time if you don't avoid them. Thankfully they do give you enough time to see that they're charging an attack like that. There are fights like this one where you would be fighting 3 elites at the same time. and you would need to do a bit of dodging, but with the right build you wouldn't have troubles. I wasn't using the most perfect build. The content you're seeing recorded is actually Chaos 5 content, so nothing too fancy, and I also only have 2 green pieces of gear in the footage that was recorded. I've noticed some changes in the options settings. First of all, I've noticed the cursor increase from ×1, ×2 to ×4. I'm not sure whether this was available during patch 0.8 and the update that came in October. But yeah, there's definitely some interesting options here. I'm just gonna quickly show you some of the other options, so maybe you could notice something that was missing before and was added recently. I've not noticed anything here in this menu, but just gonna show you everything that I've noticed. Some other new things that were added were the addition of 3 new potion modifiers and 3 new passive so-called general skills that all get unlocked as you progress the story mode on a certain character. So they're exclusive to this content and you can only get them by going through the story mode. Once you complete the story mode, you should have unlocked all 3 of those potions and all 3 of those passive skills. You're seeing them on your screens and you're seeing what the bonuses are, so feel free to pause and rewind if you wanna reread some of those. And another thing that they gave us is a preview of the upcoming free content 5th character, which is the Dwarf Engineer Kiwa, which would be throwing grenades and using turrets, among other things. There are other stuff I've noticed, such as the chest icons added to the minimap, as well as a minor bug fix where there was a case sometimes when I would see a green or red icon indicating tier 5 or 4 item on the map, but the item would not actually have dropped. In addition to that, something I've been asking for in quite some time, or hoping for to get added, that's the nameplates of the enemies that we're fighting. Great quality of life addition in my opinion. And now, just as I was getting ready to export this video, the developers released the patch notes on Steam, so I quickly included them at the end here for everyone to see. So there's the basic general info, then there's some extra balancing for all 4 characters. Some have more, like Conrad, Volen, then Alessia also has a bit more. Elontier has kind of not so much, but Bragi has the least amount of balancing added to it. You can read the full patch notes at the link in the description. There's also some bug fixes, which also, by the way, don't mention some of the things I've noticed. So on the patch notes, some of the things I've listed have not been mentioned. And this is actually some footage of the final boss, which I'll not spoil for you. I'm just gonna show you how it starts, but there are some fun mechanics about it. Thank you for watching this video, folks. If you've enjoyed it, you can subscribe to my channel for more updates of content and information about wooters such as Chaosbane, Torchlight Frontiers, Wosen, Borderlands 3 and others. Feel free to hit the like or dislike buttons to let me know whether you liked it or not, and to let me know in the comments section regarding the same things as well. Keep it cool folks, until next time, and goodbye.